Good morning, ultimate hustlers and digital empire builders. It is that time for the Cortez Hustle Show. And today we've got a Black woman tech founder in the building talking about transferring wealth and one of the most difficult challenges that we face in the moment of grief and missing our loved ones. How do you make sure that you have your affairs in order so that it makes it easy for you to transfer the family's wealth, transfer the family's information? I mean, this piece of technology is going to revolutionize the way that we handle our important documents. And we get to hear from another Black tech founder who's going to share with us some insights about this whole industry and the whole 9 yards. So you're in the right place at the right time. Do me a huge favor, comment in the chat where you're from. Drop the name of your business and all your brand and smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen. And let's kick it this morning.
Yo, what's up, ultimate hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally or I've learned from or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network. And when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I'm, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, coming to you live and direct from the Black Bear Success Mastermind Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you are a Black entrepreneur and you are looking for a community that gets it, that gets you, that you can lean on for support, that you can lean on to get tips, strategies, tools, resources to help you grow your business and on your brand, then you need to text the keyword mastermind at 314-866-4053. Again, text keyword mastermind at 314-866-4053 to get the special invitation. We literally provide hundreds of dollars of free tools, tips, and training to help you grow your business every single week in that mastermind. Again, text mastermind at 314-866-4053 to get your invitation. Today, we're talking about transferring your wealth. Today, we're talking Black women in tech. Today, we're sitting with a tech founder, Martha Underwood, and she's going to be revealing her new app that's going to help you in so many ways in your life. It's not even funny. But before we do that, let me jump into some announcements real quick, and then we're going to bring Martha on and have a wonderful conversation about how she's gone from just someone who likes technology and fell in love with it at an early age to now someone who is launching a global piece of technology that's going to revolutionize the way that we do things. So real quick, I got to give a huge shout out to Brandy Thomas. She dropped 530 stars on your board. If you're not familiar with what stars are, Facebook allows creators like myself to monetize our content through the application of a stars platform. So I put a link in the chat and in the show notes so that you can actually go out, buy stars, and then if you share stars with me, then that's a way that Facebook is allowing us to monetize. Basically, they ripped off, I believe, another platform that we love, Fanbase, which is a Black-owned social media network that does something similar. Facebook saw its Black creators running over there and said, wait a minute, we'll let you monetize over here too. So if you love the Cortez Hustle Show and you want to show some support, then you can purchase stars, and then you can give me stars when I'm live. So also, the Social Media Consistency Challenge is underway, ladies and gentlemen. What is the Social Media Consistency Challenge? It is your way to stop making excuses about using social media in your business and once and for all, be more consistent on social. So with this challenge, I will literally email you every day with a foot to your rear and say, hey, did you post today? No, but I'll email you every day and I give you an infographic to post. I give you the caption and the hashtag so you don't have to think about what to write. I also give you an affirmation and reflections article every day with dozens of affirmations that you could also post. And I give you a link to a short training video that shows you how to do all of that for 21 days straight. Why 21 days? Because if you do anything for 21 days, it becomes a habit. So you want to have a habit of consistently posting on social, then you need to text Daily Hustle to 314-730-3999. Text Daily Hustle to 314-730-3999. That number is also in the comment thread as well. And that will allow you to get on the list, and you get an email every day with the content that you need. Also, coming up on Monday, make sure you guys come back. We've got Odell Bazell, who's going to be on talking about how to monetize your message through the art of public speaking and getting paid for it. So you guys want to stay in the loop for that. So now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I had a chance to interview this young lady on my show last year. She's a friend of the show. I'm super excited that she decided to come back and hang out with us again, as there's a new development in her business. And now she's just launched her very own software app called Prism. And she's here to tell us all about it and how it's going to revolutionize how we do things. So I want to present to some of you guys and introduce to others, Madam Martha Underwood. Good morning, Martha. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I am doing fantastic.
Awesome. Well, I am super, super excited to have you on the show today to talk and tell us all about Prism. But we often start the show, before we get into your background and who you are and how this thing came to be, we start every show with a quote of the day. And basically what that is I'm going to share a quote. And then if you have a favorite quote that you like to share, then you can by all means share that quote, or you can comment on this one. And today's quote, ladies and gentlemen, is from our good buddy, Mr. Jim Rohn. And it says this: success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by becoming an attractive person. Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by becoming an attractive person. And I believe that. I believe that when you do the things that success likes, success will be drawn to you. So you become attractive by doing the things that lead to success. And when you make them your life's habits, it becomes a game changer. So, Martha, do you have a favorite quote that you like to share, or do you want to comment on that one?
Yeah, that's a great quote. One of my favorite quotes is by Marcus Garvey, and my dad used to say it all the time. Mm-hmm. And he said, take advantage of every opportunity, and where there is none, make one for yourself. Ooh. And I've lived by that, right? And so I think that's a great quote for your listeners, based on what you talk about and what you stress is important. But it's important that we make opportunities for ourselves when we don't see an opportunity that we can take advantage of.
So powerful, man, because I am the type of person that I'm solutions oriented. So I get so sick and tired of hearing people talk about the problems. Yes. Like, man, if you invite me to another meeting where all we're going to do is talk about the problem, I'm going to kick your tail.
I hear that.
I'm sick and tired of talking about the problem when we can just go out and solve and make things happen and change the world. And that's a lot what you're doing. And that's what we're here to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. So that is a quote of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by Prism. Go to the website, getprism.com. I promise you, you're going to want this in your life. And if you use the coupon code HUSTLE, you're going to get some additional savings there. I'm going to talk all about that today. But before we get into any of that, Martha, I ask everybody that comes on the Cortez Hustle Show the same question. I'm going to ask it to you. Who the heck are you?
That's a hard question. Cortez. The first thing I'll say is that I'm a mom, and I'm also passionate about tech. I was raised in Miami, Florida. I am an island girl.
Okay.
I was raised by immigrant parents who were serial entrepreneurs, and I think that that's where I get it from. I'm someone like you who hates complaints. I have grown to hate complaints, and I'm always solution oriented.
Yeah.
And I'm someone who always thinks of how to service others. Like, how can I be of service? I got that from my mom, who was a nurse growing up, and she said, Martha, everything will come to you as long as you be of service and don't expect anything back. And I think that ties into your quote of the day, right? And so that's who I am. And I know people typically want to lean towards what they do as defining them, but I think for me, it's being able to, one, be present with my family and make sure that I'm providing a good example for them, because again, I'm raising Black boys. So that's critical, to be present and to show myself as being a mom first, and everything else is kind of secondary, because family is key. That's why we do all of the stuff that we do. That's why we hustle, right? So that we can enjoy life with our families and with our friends. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
I love it. I love it. Immigrant parents. So, or are you born on the islands, or you born here and they're?
I was born on the island. I was born in Nassau, Bahamas.
Okay.
And my dad had a tailor shop in Nassau. So growing up, all of our clothes, even when we moved to Florida, when we moved to Miami, all of our clothes were tailor made, because he used to sew suits and gowns for the British dignitaries that would visit the island. And so I have to write a book on my dad. He's like my hero. He does all kind of stuff, because you look at him and you're like, he did all of that. So I was born in the island. And so I took that, we took that to Florida. He had a shop there for a little bit. And then he opened up several other businesses. We had a cleaning business. We had a printing business, owned a taxi medallion. So again, I saw his work ethic, and I saw that he wasn't afraid to be put in a box, because you got a tailor to print shop, the taxi medallion, right? Yeah. So that's where I kind of get my inspiration. And so born in the island, grew up in Florida.
I love that. And it speaks to, again, the pursuit of success, right? And not making any excuses, because as they say, 9 out of 10 businesses is gonna fail. That's so right. Start 10, right? And your dad was figuring it out. Hey man, whatever's gonna work, feed my family and build this legacy. I'm willing to shift, pivot, make adjustments, try new things, step out on faith, and make other things work. Where one door closes, another one opens. I love that. So you talked about that upbringing. Take us back into the life of young Martha. Let's go elementary, middle school, high school. What was young Martha like, and how did you evolve through those critical phases as a young person?
Sure, young Martha was quiet but observant. I'd taken everything, and learned from everyone, right? And even the story of how I got into tech is a story that I tell, because it shows how we can be put on another path and we don't realize that we're being put on this path until you look back. They say hindsight is 20/20. But when I was in the 8th grade, I was in home ec. That's when they had home ec sewing and cooking. And in our class,
don't even know what you're talking about.
They don't even know what I'm talking about.
Martha, what are you talking about?
Right. And I think we need to bring that back, but that's a whole nother show, right?
Right.
But I was in home ec, and there were students talking. I wasn't a talker. I was the model student, and the teacher thought it was me. And she said to me, "Get your ugly face to the back of the room, because I don't want to see your face, and turn around with your back to the class, because I don't want to see." And then she added, "I don't want to see your black face." So I was like, okay, young impressionable kid, went home, told my mom. My mom, the short Caribbean powerhouse that she is, put on her best suit
Mm-hmm.
and went up to the
Made
school
by
the next
dad,
day.
no doubt, right?
Yeah, and oh yeah, dad was like, "Let me let mom handle it, then I'll come in because I already know,
Yeah.
she got it." She didn't even go to the principal's office or, to the office. She walked me to the class, stood me in front of the class, and asked the teacher, "Hey, Martha's pretty quiet. Like, help me understand what you were thinking. And did you say that?" And
Mm-hmm.
she denied it. She said, "No, I didn't say it." So she asked the classroom, "Hey, did this teacher say that?" And I don't even remember her name. And that's an important point that I'll get to. She asked, "Did the teacher say that?" And all of the children raised their hands because, kids not going to lie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then she went to the office and requested that I get removed from her class. I was removed that very next day and I was put into Mrs. Green's class. So I remember her
Mm.
name.
Yeah.
Mrs. Green was a Black teacher who was teaching intro to programming.
Mm.
And that's when I fell in love with programming. First of all, I saw someone that looked like me talking about complex things, right? Talking about programming, teaching us how
Mhm.
to count in binary and teaching us basic programming. And I loved it so much that I enrolled again in ninth grade. And then I went to a computer magnet high school to
Mhm.
where I took programming 1, 2, and 3. And then went on to college and continued with that programming vein.
Wow.
And so it's important to look back because I'm like, if that didn't happen to me, I thought at the
Mhm.
time, I thought that that was the worst thing that can happen. But if that didn't happen to me, I would have never found Mrs. Green's class and I would have never
Mhm.
found technology and have
Right.
grown in the field. And so I look back and I thank that teacher really
Yeah. Yeah.
for that
Absolutely.
lesson and love my parents for being engaged
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
coming out there and advocating for me to find out what's what and demanding that I get moved to a class where the teacher can nourish me and not put me down.
Yeah.
And so I think that's how I kind of got into technology, and that was the story of how I kind of found it through middle school and through high
Man,
school.
that is so rich. There's so much there, right? The mom who said we're going to address this, but she didn't go and address it blindly and just take your word for it. Let me go and hear the other side of the story, and then let me gather all the facts,
Yep.
then take action, right? And then you being a young woman at the time, young girl at the time, seeing mom come fight for you, right?
That's right.
Sometimes our children don't get to see that because, especially if they're in predominantly white institutions, a lot of cases we come with hat in hand. Oh, little Johnny, little Susie will never do that again. We're so apologetic about their
Right.
behavior. So, man, that is so rich. And then to get moved into a classroom that led you to now being one of few Black female tech founders on the planet, right? That
Right.
is super, super dope. But before we get into the tech foundingness, you also then left school and you went into corporate America. I always ask this question, and some of my white followers might be like, "Man, why you always go there?" But we gotta have the race conversation openly and honestly in order for us
Absolutely.
to move past it. So I asked all of my guests, especially my female guests, because I just personally think that while it's equally hard on Black men in corporate, Black women in corporate have a different hard, right? So, what was your experience being in a male dominated field like tech? Brilliant, beautiful, ambitious. How did you deal with some of the things that you have to deal with in that space of too much testosterone? Just let us say that.
Man, Cortez, we going here.
We gotta go here
We
because
going here.
some young girl, some young woman who was just starting her career in tech right now is going to be able to draw from this and relate. Like, yeah, Martha already told me that this was coming, so I'm here for it.
So it was not easy. I was always the only, and I'm still the only.
Yeah.
In a lot of rooms. And the biggest challenge is having to prove yourself over and over again, walking into those rooms, right? And being dismissed, having your ideas dismissed. And what I realized, and this is like, I would say within the past 10 years, and I've been in technology over the past 25 plus years, is that one, they don't know either. They're experimenting. Like technology is failing all the time and learning from your mistakes. Like in a program, you're looking at bugs and what worked, what didn't work. It's the same thing when you're going into these meetings. They think that they know, and they don't embrace the ideas that you bring. And so what I would tell girls, because I had to learn this as well, is don't be afraid of your ideas. Don't doubt your brilliance. Because what we have seen, and I'm sure, women in tech who are growing in their careers have experienced this, is that your ideas get stolen a lot.
Yeah.
Because they're valuable.
That's right.
They're not going to steal them if it's not valuable, right? Yeah. And I challenged myself, and I coach other women in tech to take your ideas back. So you're sitting at the table, and you might voice an idea, and Tom over here, three comments later takes it. And you need to interject and say, thank you for reiterating that, Tom, that I said. And here is why I thought through it. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, God gave us each our own brilliance, and they don't know why you might have brought that idea to the table, because it's your experiences that led you to say X or Y. And they thought it was brilliant. They don't know what that backstory is or what led you there. So they're going to take it and they're going to botch it.
Yeah.
And so don't be afraid to take your ideas back. And it's going to be difficult. They will hammer you. And the whole adage of you need to be 10 times better, it is true. But walk in those rooms like you belong there. And don't be afraid to show your brilliance. And don't be afraid to take risks, because it's also about taking risks. Like, is this idea valid? Am I lockstep with them? And you are. I guarantee you are. I've been in rooms with CEOs of Silicon Valley CEOs, and I'm sitting here like, yeah, that don't make no sense, but okay. And then they come and they ask me the question, and I'm like, all right, here's what we got to do, right? And so the more you do that, the more you build your confidence. But it is, when you walk into the room, the expectation is that you are lesser. And that you're just kind of here as a number to fill a quota. But I challenge all of us to smash that perception and continue to push through, because they do. You do feel it. It might be over. But you do feel it. And that's the main thing, having to prove yourself over and over again, because you're a Black woman and you're the only one in there.
Gotcha.
And so
I love that. And sometimes covert is even worse than overt, right? The underhanded stuff. Like, so I'm glad that you spelled that out. And I know someone will get value from that, because again, we ain't crying, we ain't making no excuses, but I want you to be prepared. This is what it is. I got to prove myself over and over and over again. Okay, this is what I'm signing up for. I'm going to prove myself over and over and over again. I know my ideas are going to get taken and I have to take them back. Well, I'm going to take them back. And even if they start looking at me like the angry Black woman in the room, guess what? You're going to stop taking my ideas after a while, when I start chewing your head out about it. So I love that. Thank you so much for indulging me in that. Right now, it is time for my favorite segment of the show. It's called 1 Minute Motivation. This is where we play a short motivational video, usually 60 to 90 seconds or so. And I'm just going to ask you to give a couple takeaways, and I'm going to give a couple takeaways. And those who are watching us live on Facebook or YouTube will always comment a takeaway or two. So let's get into 1 Minute Motivation, ladies and gentlemen, right here on the Cortez Hustle Show.
We all live in this bubble. What you got to do, you got to put more air in your bubble. You got to blow your bubble up. Expand yourself. Take yourself out your comfort zone. Do not live in your bubble. Put some more air in your bubble. If you stay in your comfort zone, that's where you will fail. You will fail in your comfort zone. Success is not a comfortable procedure. It is a very uncomfortable thing to attempt. So you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable if you ever want to be successful. Start putting some pressure on. Put some pressure on yourself. Get out here and get about it. Look, I'd love to sugarcoat this thing for you. I'd love to tell you, look, you can go out here and get rich, do a couple of things. That ain't happening. You got to get real doggish. You got to get downright funky if you want to make it. Now, like I was telling you before, if you want to be ordinary, you ain't even got to listen to me. Just go on about your business. If you think ordinary is cool, ain't no problem. It's some really, really wonderful ordinary people. But if you are sitting in this room and you have extraordinary aspirations, then you're going to have to do extra. You put extra on top of ordinary and you come up with extraordinary. It's no other way. I'm sorry, but here's the fact. All of you have extraordinary capabilities. All of you. You have to decide if you are willing to do the things to put you in that category.
Hoo-wee. Now I know we had some tech issues on our side. Did you hear the whole thing, Martha?
I heard the whole thing.
All right, cool. I had some tech issues on my side, but here's why I love 1 Minute Motivation, because we all just listen to the same clip, but based on where we are in life, we all heard something very different. So what did you hear?
Keep going for me, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
used to being uncomfortable at this point because being a Black woman in tech, I'm typically the only one. And that's very uncomfortable being in those rooms, like you said earlier, with all of that testosterone. But the other thing is that success isn't easy. It's failure after failure after failure. But it's the way you look at it too. Because again, I have to, pay homage to my dad. And I'm a daddy's girl, as you can't tell. But he basically always said, what's the lesson in it? What's the lesson in the failure? And you continue to learn the things in the failure that's going to get you to the success. And failing is not comfortable. It hits your ego. Like people are telling you that that's not going to work. And that's a crazy idea. And you're like, well, maybe I should just continue to go take the easy route and get this cush check and not really do the things that my heart is telling me to do. But when you step out on that faith, and what the clip is saying is, when you step out on that faith, you get through that uncomfortable season that you're gonna have to go through. Then you get to the other side, then you see the fulfillment that was waiting for you. You get that fulfillment that was waiting for you. So that's what I got. Like, just keep going, and I'll get to that comfortable seat.
I love it. I love it. He said at one point, success is not a comfortable procedure, right? But so he used that word, and I'm thinking surgical, right? When you think procedure, you think a surgical procedure. Like, you literally, if you want to be successful, you have to perform brain surgery. Like, it's a mindset, it's a mentality, it's an attitude. Going back to our quote of the day, you do brain surgery so you can become a magnet to success, and you start attracting that success to you. Then he said, you got to put some pressure on yourself. You got to put some pressure on yourself. And that to me speaks to setting big goals, right? When I first started doing online shows like this, I did a show in 2016, I believe. I started called Talking Money in the Morning Live. And every day I opened that show up talking about becoming a billionaire by 2027, right? That's putting pressure on myself, publicly declaring that I'm going to go get it. And now people are watching like, okay, how close are you? How close are you? That can't even be done. And I had to remind people that Uber didn't take 10 years to become a multi-billion-dollar company. Let's just be clear. It can be done. You may not be aware of it being done, but it can be done. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is 1 minute motivation. Let's see what some of our folks had to say about this real quick as well. My man Mark says, the legendary Steve Harvey, the $50 turning point, born with greatness. You are absolutely right on that, Mark. So that is 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by Prism. Ladies and gentlemen, getprism.com is the website. And you're probably thinking, well, Cortez, what is Prism? Well, you're about to find out. So, Martha, my friend, middle school, high school, fell in love with tech. What most people would have seen in the moment as a negative situation, a scarring situation, actually led you to the world of technology, and you fell in love with it, made it through, started excelling in corporate, and then you decided that, you know what, there is something that I could bring to the marketplace that people absolutely need. So tell people, what is Prism first? And then how did the idea come about?
Sure. So Prism is a digital vault built for managing affairs and getting quick access to financial documents, financial information, and just life documents at end of life. Mm-hmm. Centralized portal so you can have it all in one place. And how I came to this idea is because I take care of my parents, in Florida. As well. And I can't continue to, they're getting older. My mom is 83. My dad is 83. And I can't fly down I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. I can't fly down to Miami every time I need to get a document or go to the bank or do those things. And again, I'm like, okay, how can I leverage technology in order to service them and be able to handle these things without leaving my house? Mm-hmm. And so I created this portal to centralize it. It's an asset aggregator attached to it. So I have all of their financial information, banking information there, 401ks, investment accounts, everything is there. And then all of our documents from an immigration standpoint, like our birth certificates from the islands, everything, their life insurance policies. But the best part of Prism is that I can mask all of that information and not show it to anyone else. Since I manage their affairs, I'm like, I can, but I don't, if my little brother has an account, he can't see everything because he might come in there and be like, Mom, Dad, let me hold something.
Right.
And I'm like, no, leave Mommy and Daddy alone.
Yeah.
But he can still have access to the platform, but it's all masked until they transition. And when they transition, everything goes into a read-only mode, and there's transparency. Gotcha. Because at the end of life, all you want to do really is grieve. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you have all this admin stuff on the side that you need to take care of. Like, where is the life insurance policy? Where are their bank accounts? What is the password to the safe, and that's in the garage? Mm-hmm. All of these things that we don't think about, because where I think we're going is, as a society, we're doing the right things. We do have life insurance policies. Mm-hmm. We've set up the things that we need to do, where we put beneficiaries on our accounts like they need to be, but we don't communicate it.
Yeah.
We don't tell people this is where it is in the event that something happens to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that, because like you said, when parents transition, or loved ones that you're close to, there's often a tremendous measure of confusion that sometimes it causes problems, right? It causes additional stress for someone like yourself in position of caretaker. Like my sisters are in better position to care for my mom than I am, right? So imagine not having things in order. And then, you know how we do. Everybody's got an opinion, right? Everybody's got an opinion about what they think should happen and how the person in the trenches should be doing X, Y, Z. And you can point to a read-only document that says, no, this is what they wanted. Here it is in black and white and with their signature. I love that because it has the ability to ease tension in family relationships and really help with just smoothly allowing that to happen, celebrating the life of that person without all of the drama, man. We
Right.
got so dramatic when things are not in order. So I love that. But you also said there's some other interesting use cases that you found to be helpful. And I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking about for myself. But
Okay.
talk about some of these other use cases that you're seeing people use the platform for, because it is a secure document. It doesn't have to be transitional type documents. It
Sure.
could be anything that you find of value and importance, and it's not going to buy a safe deposit box at the bank and putting eroding papers in there. It is all digitized. So what are some of the other use cases you found so far?
So one of the other use cases, and these are interesting use cases too, which I'm like, I love the fact that people are thinking this way. So we're seeing parents use it to store for their athletes,
Mhm.
to store their eligibility documents for like packaging for the NCAA to enter the portal, like what their
Mhm.
grades were, what their stats were, all of the applications. Because what the platform also does is allow you to package all of the documents, zip it up, and then
Mhm.
send it off. Right.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so that makes it much easier instead of piecemealing one by one, emailing and then
Mhm.
uploading into the portal. Also seeing that immigrants are using it. So they're using it to store all of their H-1B visa documents,
Mhm.
their birth certificates, any applications for citizenship,
Yeah.
into it, and then again package it and being able to send it to the attorney. Because when you set up the account, we also allow you different types of accounts. So you can set up as a joint account. When
Mhm.
you set it up as a joint account, your spouse automatically gets to see everything. You
Mhm.
can say, I'm going to share this with my financial advisor and invite the financial advisor to the account. You can invite a CPA to the account, and you can invite an attorney to the account. And
Mhm.
you can control the layers of privacy, like how much you want them to see and how much you want to mask. And so I've been seeing where immigrants have been sharing this with their CPAs, or excuse me, with their attorneys,
Mhm.
and packaging the documentation. And that's important actually, because right now there really isn't a mechanism for them to do that. They just email it. And
Right.
email isn't as secure as we need to be unless you encrypt it and you send it off and you have that. But people don't, regular
Right.
person's not gonna have that. They got Yahoo, Gmail, isn't as secure. And you're sending very personal and secure documents over email. So they've been
Mhm.
using it in those two use cases, which has been fascinating.
Gotcha. I love that. And I'm going to pull up the website here real quick, just so people can see. The website is getprism.com, and Prism is spelled with two M's, Prism. And when you think about it, this is how wealthy people operate. This is how they function. This is how they seamlessly transfer wealth in a manner where it just really brings again that peace and that comfort to an otherwise difficult situation when a loved one transitions. I'll tell you, this is what I'm thinking, right? So for me, uh, as a digital marketer and affiliate marketer, right? I make money so many different ways, right? And if something happened to me, technically, all of those accounts can still function without me because most of them are passive in nature. So I see that my wife would need to have access to all of the affiliate agreements that I have with this company who pays me X amount of dollars because I've got videos promoting their product. So she would need to have access to the affiliate agreements, the passwords, know where the funds are actually paying to, so she can change it up and have them go to her account, and all of that kind of stuff. I'm in with a couple of network marketing opportunities where those businesses actually transfer in my transition. So she needs access to all of that. But what I also know is this: none of my family are in my business, right? None of my sons, I have 5 sons, none of them want to be digital marketers. They, Dad, you work too hard, right? None of them want to be. But what I could do in order for them to keep this going is to create a manifesto and say, here's how Thornton Online Marketing runs. Here's how the Cortez Hustle Show runs. I've got over 2,000 videos out, and they can repurpose that content, and I can create a manifesto and show them, hey, if you guys just do this, add these links to these videos, people will still buy the products and the services, and the money could keep coming, right? That's amazing that you have such a platform. So what do you think about a use case such as that?
Absolutely. I mean, because they may not, you mentioned your 5 sons, they may not see it today, but if something were to happen, they're like, okay, let me comb through this, and like, Dad set us up, right? And it's clear for us. And I'm going to touch on something you said, that, other people are making sure that their wealth is being passed on, because we do have partnership with financial advisors as well. Because again, you think that you go to a financial advisor and that this is clear, but it's not, because some people have more than one financial advisor. They might trust one over another for whatever reason. But the thing that drove me really for this is the generational wealth transfer that we can see, because like right now, there's $1 billion sitting in the treasury and for the state of Alabama for dollars that's not claimed. Right? I went to the bank just to make a deposit, and they were cleaning out the safe deposit boxes. And one of the women, said, this box is worth $80,000 because it has all of these, coins, these unique coins in here. But we can't contact the beneficiary. This person has passed. Then the other one said, yeah, I just sent up $140,000 to the state that's not claimed because beneficiaries haven't contacted us. We tried to call them, because when you think about it, you might get a call from an 800 number, and people spamming car warranty, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know who this is, but it could be a bank, or it could be someone notifying you. And if you don't listen to the message or you don't answer the phone, the banks have a certain amount of time to hold it there before they have to give it to the state, and then it just sits there. And then it takes a long time to get it back, right? We have grandma and grandpa who have properties paid off that they want to pass on, but we don't know that exists, and we're not paying the taxes on it, right? And then you got people buying the tax certificate, and now I don't own it anymore because I just did not know about it. Right. And so it goes back to, we're doing the right things. We're trying to do the right things to set our families up, to be able to be better than we were. But we're missing that piece of, do they know where it is? Right. And I'm going to tell you what validated this for me, to let me know that I absolutely need to continue down this path, is there's another influencer, MJ Harris, who I believe he is a financial advisor. He did a live maybe about a week ago where he said he almost died. It was a freak accident that he almost fell, hit his head. And as he was recovering, he said, yeah, I did all the right things. I have life insurance policies, I have my accounts, but do my beneficiaries know where it is? They don't. That's the missing piece. And that's what we're solving for. Right. And that's why the privacy piece is important as well, because again, you don't want everybody in your business. And so it gives you the best of both worlds. It allows me to digitally store this securely, because we encrypt your information. We use best in class bank level encryption. And then we allow you to control who you share it with, and what they can see and when they can see it.
I love it. And I think this does it brings another element into the situation where now we can have these conversations, right? A lot of times we just don't have the conversation. Forget about what we own and what we have, the assets, and we just don't have the conversation. Like Mark said, this was not discussed at the dinner table. So now it can become, Mom, Dad, let's get you set up so you don't have to keep worrying about this. Let's bring you into the 21st century so that we just put this plan together one time. We have all the documents stored, and none of the kids can see it until you say we can see it.
That's right.
But at least you have it set up. So if something happens to you, then we go into this portal and it says daughter number 3 is going to be the proxy and handle everything. Okay, well, kids, in my case, my mom has 6 kids, 3 boys and 3 girls. In my case, it is, okay, everybody else fall back. Now let's support what Mom wanted for this transition, right? And then everything else is easily spelled out, is easily accessed, and we can get on with the grieving of our mom, celebrating her life, her legacy. And man, it is just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So in the space of entrepreneurship, so we know what the app can do. We know that it's an amazing piece of technology. There is a tremendous need for it in the marketplace. Now you as the entrepreneur and moving the app, right? Let's take the developer hat off now and moving the app, raising awareness. How has that experience been for you actually getting people to adopt the app?
So it's been difficult because, like you said, it's a hard conversation to have, and we're not having it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. We're not having it. But the one thing that I've been able to do is through COVID, you had a lot of people unexpectedly pass. And so I've been working with people who've been impacted where their husband might have unexpectedly passed. And then now they're like, I don't know where anything is. Collecting those stories, because we know stories are powerful.
That's right.
And I can sit here and tell you all day long, because I'm proactive, right? I'm trying to be proactive. And I said, I can see where this can be of value in the market. But when people are just living their day-to-day lives and life happens, it's like, well, what do I do? So telling those stories, extracting those stories one by one, to give them the courage, like you said, around the dinner table. Hey, Mom and Dad, we can actually do this because look at what happened to so-and-so. And you remember all of the challenges we had there. Telling those stories, and we're going to start sharing those stories to push adoption, because people resonate with stories, and we always think it can't happen to us until it does. And what I don't want to happen is people wish that they had it, and it's like, it's too late. You can't get consent or information after the fact. So have that hard conversation now, put it away. Every quarter, we send you an email to remind you, hey, just log in and make sure everything is good. Nothing hasn't changed. You didn't open a new account. And then let it sit there, because when you need it, you need it.
Yeah. It's funny you said that. I talked to a young lady I'm helping with some marketing around her notary business. And she's like, well, notary is one of those businesses that you don't need it every day, but when you do need it, you need it. So this is something that you don't need every day. But when you do need it, you need it. And I think those stories are powerful. And here's what's interesting about those stories. We all got one in our family.
That's right.
We all got one of those stories in our family. Uncle so-and-so didn't have the affairs in order. Kids fighting over something. Then turns out that he actually didn't own it because he didn't do what he was supposed to do. And like we all have one of those stories in our own families.
That's right.
But still, nobody has thought to seek out a solution and say, how do we, if that happened to Uncle now, and we love them, but how do we prevent that from happening to us? Now you have Prismm, right? So I love that. And I love that you have the courage to take on this ministry, because that's what I see it as. This is an actual ministry that is helping so many people and has the potential to literally transform how we see transition. And again, opening up those conversations to say, hey mom, hey dad, let's go ahead and digitize your life insurance policy. Make sure everybody has access to it. We know where it is. And mom says, what life insurance policy? Oh, you don't have life insurance? Let's back the conversation up. Let's get your policy so we can put it in Prism, right? Because we're not having those conversations. Mom, we want to make sure that all your assets get transferred correctly. What assets? Find out. Pop's got $40,000 under the mattress somewhere.
That's right.
On the TV, like on Soul Food. Like, wait a minute, that ain't how, Dad. We can't. That ain't how we can't operate like that.
Like Dad.
Right.
Yeah.
So having those conversations. So I love that. So kudos to you for having the courage to take on a project like this around such a tough conversation, but a very necessary conversation. So now we're on to our second favorite part of the show. It's called freestyle, Martha, because I know you got bars. You came up in Florida with DJ Khaled and Pitbull, so I know you got. No, freestyle is as I'm building this multi-billion-dollar international media conglomerate, starting with this podcast, and it will one day surpass Ted Turner and Walt Disney. By the way, just so y'all know, you heard it here first. I don't always ask the right questions. The conversation doesn't always evolve to where we want it to go. So freestyle is your opportunity to take 2 minutes and either reiterate something that you feel was incredibly important, or if we didn't get to a part of the conversation that you wanted to have, now is your time to share that with our audience. So let's get into freestyle right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, the Martha Underwood version. Hit them with your best bar, sis.
So I ain't got no DJ Khaled bars, but I'm gonna tell you a story that brought all of this home for me, right? So in the 8th grade, I was selected to go see Michael Jordan, Miami Arena. Got dressed, got ready to go, and my dad and my mom said, "You can't go see Michael Jordan." I'm like, why? It's like, because we got to go to a funeral. I'm like, a funeral? Like, I got good grades. I got to go see Michael Jordan. That's when he was the hottest. Like, come on. Made me go to the funeral. Walked up. That was my first experience with death. Devastated me. And I remember going to the bathroom and crying, and my mom coming in with the widow. And she was crying because, one, she was grieving. But then she also said to my mom, "I don't know where anything is. We got 3 kids. I don't know where the bank account is. I don't know where any of this is." Right? And here we are, 30-something years later, and we still are dealing with that same issue.
Yeah.
We have technology, we have progressed, but the way we handle end-of-life affairs is the same. And I said that to my parents, and they reminded them of that. And they said, and that's why it's you. That's why you're the one who would have the courage to take this up, right? And try to change that process and try to change the minds and encourage people to have this difficult conversation, but in such a way that when you frame it, it's framed as help your people, help your loved ones at your end of life. They give them this last gift because they're already going to be grieving, right? And so that's why I am passionate about Prism. That's why I think that this is the platform that we should be storing our information in, because we don't know what's going to happen. And we don't want to stay in the past of how it used to be and not be able to pass on wealth. Because we didn't have the courage to have those conversations. And so it does take me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right. It makes me think about, my mortality. But I think about the good that it will do for people. And that is why I said, let me keep going and let me use my technology background to help bridge the gap that we are seeing on how we handle the affairs, the administrative affairs at end of life.
Love it, love it. Man, drop mic, man. You don't have to be DJ Khaled. You want the mother-loving Underwood.
That's right. I love it.
Of Prism. God dog it.
I love it.
Freestyle right here on the Cortez Hustle Show with Martha Underwood. And you're so right, because we are still that generation where our parents, and especially those who have two parents, may have had one parent who did all of the finances, right? Now we know in our generation, my wife and I are very transparent, but my parents and their parents, they were of the, hey, husband pays all the bills, wife pays all the bills, and they just kind of separated things in that manner. So if something happens to one or the other, it's a whole entire mess. So real quick, we got 5 minutes. Tell everybody how they can get the ad. What are the price points? And
Sure.
I know we got a special discount for those who subscribe to an annual plan. So talk to us about that real quick.
So the plan is $99 a month. Excuse me, $99 a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same price as like a safe deposit box at the bank, because they're typically $100 a year.
Yeah.
And you go on and it's very seamless. You sign up, there's 3 steps, put in your credit card and you're done. And then you go back in and you upload your information. We made it as simple as possible so that older people and younger people can use it and get in and get out. We created the hustle code for all of your listeners, so they get $25 off for the life of their account for annual subscription. So that'll make it $75 per year for this platform. We wanted to make it affordable because not everyone can afford a trust attorney or an estate attorney to plan this ahead of time. And I have estate attorneys and trust attorneys who use the platform to store it. So you can do it through the platform as an individual subscriber. And we wanted to make that affordable for everyone. And it's getprism.com, GETPRISM.com. And then you can find us across social media at GetPrism, across Instagram and across Facebook and Twitter.
Gotcha. Love it. Love it. Y'all heard it here first. She didn't just say save $25 this year. She said save $25 for the life of your annual subscription. So subscribe today and it will be $75 for you, and you renew it $75 every year in perpetuity. Because I can tell you this about technology. I can tell you this about entrepreneurship. It ain't always going to be $100 a year, people. It ain't always going to be $75 per year, people. So make your move today. Go ahead and get signed up for the Prism plan and start getting your stuff in order. Start seeing, like here's what I see, Martha, is when I sign up for this plan, it's going to force me to literally think about all of the assets that I own.
That's right.
Sometimes we don't think about it.
Sometimes we don't. That's right.
You start looking at, like, I got 18,000 bank accounts, right? Stripe, PayPal, my regular business accounts. I got 2-3 different business accounts, 2-3 personal accounts. Like, you have to really start thinking about all of the assets that you own. Like, for me, every show that I do is downloaded and saved into a drive, right? These shows are assets for me. My people will need to know how to access this stuff. Like, all of this is incredibly, incredibly powerful. So when you think about it, it's going to do a lot towards helping us understand, even have the asset versus liability conversation, right? So
right.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Any final words? We got 2 minutes.
No, I mean, thank you, Cortez, for having me on the show for such an important product and using your platform to motivate people and talk about these things, because it's so critical that our voices are heard and we're able to expose the products out there that can help us, right? So I thank you for having me on this morning.
Absolutely, no problem. And thank you for getting up and hanging with us. I know you're out and, traveling and doing some business. So thank you for giving us of your time. That's going to do it for us, man. GetPrism.com. GetPrism.com. Until we talk to you next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. So hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.